好，我们马上开始。Okay, it's online. Okay. So have everyone from online and as always, everyone in person, welcome back. And for everyone coming in late, please get seated as soon as possible. And today we'll have the pleasure to share the talk with Tim and Joe. Tim, he is the executive director of ACI, also a master grad from University of Pennsylvania. He used to be the general manager of the Red Capital Education and Travel. Also, he is the translator at the Diamond Cutter Classics. And we also have Joe Crawford. He's the Director of Technology at ALL, the Asian Legacy Library. He's worked with all levels of Canadian government on spatial and data analysis, and he is the key person in driving the ALL's tech vision. So let's welcome Tim and Joe.
Sometimes when you start a class, it's like, what are you going to do to break the ice?
Іноді, коли починаєш, це як щось, що ти робиш, коли розбити лід, коли всі ці очі дивляться на тебе.
Say hi, eyeballs. Nice to see you.
Іноді це просто здорово.
Other times it's,
вийти і сказати, привіт.
There's a reason for it. Because, today we're going to talk a little bit about,
причини для цього. Тому що сьогодні ми будемо
we're going to continue the talk from whatever was the first day, a couple days ago, about leadership. We have a third chair here too. There's always people always wonder like why you have an empty chair. We're going to have a special guest later. But we're going to continue that conversation on the seeds for leadership. And we're going to be relating it specifically to the 5 houses. And then what's next? Like, what are we going to do next? Okay. So we're going to go on a little bit of a journey that's going to seem slightly disconnected, but hopefully it'll have a, by the end you'll be inspired. Oh, yes. Oh, I have something else to start with. So today, one of the coolest people that lives in Rimrock is having a birthday. And I think he's turning 10. Little Kiri. And what I'd like to do is wish him a happy birthday. So we're going to say happy birthday on the phone. I'm going to turn around. And if all of you can just wave and say happy birthday, I'd like to send that to him. They weren't able to come this time because visas, good visas. There's an attempt to get status to live in the United States, so they have to stay. So they weren't able to come, and so we're missing them and missing little Kiri as well. So I thought it'd be nice to say happy birthday to him. So thank you, Joel, for reminding me. So we're going to do a little happy birthday up here, and then I'll turn it around, and if you all can just make a lot of noise, wave, do all of those things, right? Hello. So we're wishing you a wonderfully happy birthday, and we'd like to show you what's happening here in Kyoto as well.
І бажаємо показати тобі, що відбувається у Кіото.
Happy birthday, buddy. Have a wonderful day. Let me send that off.
Народження, парень.
Thank you, everyone.
Гарного дня. Давайте я відправлю йому це. Дякую всім.
All right.
Добре.
So we have the illustrious Joel Crawford here. And from the introduction, I learned cool things about him. I've known him for 15 years. And I had invited him here today to give you a little bit of an overview of how the worldview organizations fit together and specifically how it starts in the Asian Legacy Library. And then we're going to relate that. How does that relate to leadership? How are we going to do that? You'll like it when we get there. So the first thing I'd like to do is I'd like to review the 4 main seeds that we talked about in the class a couple of days ago, just to remind us, just in case you don't remember, because it was so long ago. And we've had so many wonderful classes since then. I'd just like to bring us back to where we were. First slide, please, Brian. I should have brought money.
Yeah, can we see it on that screen? Or is that not possible?
It's possible. It's up in the corner there just a little bit. All right. So the idea is this comes directly from, and I can't remember what part of the foundation course is, where it talks about the 4 things a teacher does to attract students. Does anyone remember exactly where that is? Where is it? Which number? Level 8. Excuse me? No, that's DCI. That is true. That it was modified in DCI for leadership. But in the ACI courses, does anyone remember where? Teachers? Students? Do you even remember this?
I don't remember the list.
Maybe 10? Maybe 1?
Я не пам'ятаю список, можливо,
I don't remember.
10-й, можливо,
It's okay. It doesn't matter.
Я не пам'ятаю.
So there's 4
Неважливо.
seeds as a teacher to plant for students, right? To be a leader of students. How do you draw them into the teaching? How do you entice? Right? And there's so many different ways to do it. There's many skillful ways to do it. And then when we're thinking about leadership in general, because the goal, like, what is the synonym of what is one of the synonyms of a Buddha?
Який синонім Будди?
The teacher, right?
Вчитель.
And so in that,
Синонім слова Будди –
that's
вчитель.
where we're going. So why don't we just start now?
Коли ми рухаємося.
Okay. And then we can use it in a pretend way to develop an organization called the 5 Houses and hire people and develop leaders and all of those things.
Коли ми можемо наймати людей, розвивати 5 домів.
But the idea really is, like, how do we plant those seeds in ourselves?
І ідея в
Right?
тому,
To be
як ми
the teacher,
засіваємо
to become
зерна,
a teacher, to become a leader.
щоб
Right?
стати
Along the way,
вчителем,
there's
щоб
stages, there's
стати
steps.
лідером.
So anyhow,
І
so Joel,
дорогою
what's the
ми
first
будемо
seed to
зустрічати
plant?
етапи
gosh.
шляху.
K-
Який?
I mean, you just gave me the
Яке
list.
перше
What-
зерно, яке ми
what's happening up
повинні
here?
засіяти? О
I
Боже,
bet I can guess.
ти
Yeah, why
мені
don't you
дав
guess?
список
Generosity,
5
giving,
хвилин
sharing.
тому.
Sure. What do you mean by
Я
giving?
намагатимусь
in this
вгадати.
case?
Давати,
I think about your
дарити.
own teachers. What have,
Ми тут говоримо про даяння.
including a microphone?
Подумай
I'm not
про
his
своїх
teacher, I'm sorry.
вчителів.
Yeah.
Вмикай мікрофон.
What do they give?
Я не його
Absolutely
вчитель.
everything, I think. Their time,
Що він дає нам,
Their
вчитель? Я вважаю
space,
все.
their
Час,
wisdom, their ideas,
простір,
their...
мудрість, ідеї.
They listen. I think one of the biggest things that all my teachers have done, and there's so many of my teachers in this room,
Сенс.
it's
Я
amazing.
думаю, що саме велике, що мені
But
дав вчитель.
they're
Я
generous in
вважаю,
how
дуже
they
багато
see you.
вчителів зараз в
You
цій
know, I sat next to
кімнаті.
Ben right before I came up here, and he gave me a pep talk, and it was like the
Щедрість.
craziest thing. It was like, you're amazing, you're awesome.
Поряд Бен, він поговорив зі мною. Він сказав, ти
But,
класний, ти...
To see that is maybe one of the greatest gifts that a
Побачити
teacher can
це,
give you.
це може бути
Because it allows you to
з
take the
подарунків,
next
які вчитель
step,
дарує вам,
whatever that step is,
тому
you know,
що
onto
це
a
дає
stage maybe.
можливість вам піти
For
далі,
instance.
зробити наступний крок, яким би ви
So
він не
so
був,
if we
можливо, на
translate this
сцену.
into being a leader of an organization or a leader of
Якщо
people,
перекласти
like in a
це
team,
Yeah.
like how would you
як
translate
бути
that?
лідером організації, чи людей, чи команди, як би ти перевів на
interesting.
іншу мову.
So I started at ALL as a
Це
volunteer,
цікаво.
and I was I mean, a lot of people, if ever you want to
Я
get involved in an
почав
organization,
ВЛЛ
just
як волонтер.
volunteer. Pretty soon you'll be like
Якщо
working
ви
full time, and
бажаєте
it'll be
потрапити в
And underpaid and
організацію,
overwhelming.
почніть
And lots of
волонтерити.
joy.
but
І ви
and it could
швидко
have been like
почнете
I think about
працювати
JB
цілий
and
день, і
all the things
перегруз у
that he
вас
was
буде.
offering me along the way, you know, like he's
Я
really
думаю
good. He's
про
kind of like
JB
seductive or something. That
І
guy,
все, що
He
він
kinda pulls
дає
you in
мені.
without you really knowing, and I don't think at any point
Це
along
як
the
тягне
steps from
тебе
volunteer
туди,
to
ти не
like
розумієш
director,
цього.
which
Ти
sounds cool. I don't think I ever really felt
знаходишся в цьому.
like a
І
fully
ти
embodied
проходиш
leader.
шлях від волонтера до директора.
I mean, that's kind of interesting.
Я не думаю, що
Right, and
відчував
we're going to explore
себе
that a little bit
взагалі
later.
завжди
Like, what happens when
лідером.
we don't
Цікаво.
feel it? Right? What happens
І ми
when
будемо
we're trying to become something
досліджувати
else?
це.
We're
Що
trying to grow, we're
відбувається,
trying
коли
to
ти того
evolve.
не відчуваєш? Що відбувається,
and
коли ти намагаєшся
What
стати
happens when,
кимось
for
іншим?
example, like if you're
Ми
saying,
намагаємося
Ben is
бути
like, Joe,
краще.
you're awesome.
Що
You're
відбувається?
Well, exactly.
And
ти
then what
говориш
happens
про
inside
Joy.
might
Yeah.
be different.
Бен
Well,
тобі
exactly. So you
говорить,
just
Бен,
take the next
ти
step, and
класний.
pretty soon
Що в цей час
you
відбувається?
are
Тоді ти
leading. Although
готовий до
even saying that
наступного
sounds
кроку.
weird, but
І ти дуже швидко вже лідер. І
but
це
it's
странно,
almost
коли ти
unconscious.
так
It's just
говориш.
another step
Але
along the
це
path.
відбувається.
Which
Це
I mean,
майже
maybe that's what we're
несвідомо.
saying.
Це лише
You know,
це
if ultimately we're working
лише
towards
наступний
being the
крок на шляху.
capital T teacher. I mean, it would be funny to think that like you right before the step towards Buddhahood, even at that point, you're like, I don't know, am I a good person? I mean, I don't think
Коли
I don't think
ти
that's how it
наближаєшся
works,
до просвітлення, я не знаю, я гарна
One of
людина.
the things I'd like to say,
Можливо,
Joel,
не
is
впевнений, що це працює.
like a lot
для
of
мене.
people come to me and
Я б
say,
хотів сказати,
I'm a bad person. I'm making all these
багато
mistakes.
людей приходять до
screwing up.
мене і
I'm
говорять,
blah,
я
blah, you know,
погана
it goes on
людина,
and on
я
and on.
роблю
And-
багато помилок.
And I get this
Я
impression
облажався
that
і
somehow the best
все
people
подобне у такому
are the
роді.
most
А в мене
self-critical.
складається
Like there seems
рішення,
to be
що
some kind of like,
кращі
I'm like,
люди
I
самі
don't see what you
критичні.
see.
Тобто,
Like I see you're
схоже,
being human,
yeah.
but I
я
don't
не
see you as a
бачу
bad
того,
person.
що бачиш ти.
Yeah, I mean,
Я бачу, що
ultimately,
ти людина,
it's-
але я не бачу
it's not
тебе
that it-
поганою
well,
людиною.
I mean, for somebody that has those thoughts, I can say that it's not necessarily overt.
Тобто, коли є такі
You know, I do
думки,
walk
це
around
не
and think, you know,
обов'язково,
I'm
що
pretty
ці
good.
думки,
You know, I'm doing good things. I mean, I
їх
must be
необхідно
to
продовжувати.
be here
І я
with
думаю,
everybody.
ну, взагалі
I
я
must be
непоганий, я
if a
роблю
whipped cream
гарні
sandwich
речі.
exists in this
Можливо,
country.
якщо я тут,
I don't know if
Це
anyone
як
has had that.
слівки,
Actually,
вони
put your hand
повинні
up if you
існувати у
have
цій
had a
країні.
whipped cream sandwich. They're so good. It's magical. I mean, that is one thing that this
Якщо
country has given
вас-
the world. That I mean, there's many.
якщо ви
but-
клали слівки на вершки,
Do not
вершки
advertise.
на
The,
свій бутерброд,
we're not using that in our advertisement of why we should
рекламуй.
come to Japan only.
Yeah, not only.
ми не рекламуємо, чому
sorry, what was
ми
the
приїхали до Японії.
I got
А яке
sidetracked by
питання
the
ти
whipped cream
задавав?
sandwich.
No, my
Я
thought is
Трошки
that
відійшов
sometimes
на
the people that
вспиті
are most
вершки.
self-critical and worry about planting the worst seeds are
Іноді
actually the
самі
best people.
критичні
Yeah.
люди,
I mean, it's a fine balance.
самі
And we talk
кращі
about
люди,
this too,
насправді.
you know.
можна
Isn't,
знайти
there's a
баланс.
famous,
Ми
maybe
про
somebody knows
це
it.
теж
It's
говорили.
I think it's an American
Можливо, хтось
writer,
знає.
activist from the 60s, but
Я
who are you
думаю,
to be
це
small?
американський письменник, активіст. Хто
So it's
ти,
a
щоб
fine
бути
line. There's
маленьким?
this humility, and then at some point it just becomes reverse pride or whatever it is, you know. So walking onto the stage, it's funny because I'm supposed to be teaching and leading and all these things. and this spot right here is where I have the most misperceptions, you know. Put 300 eyeballs on me. And am I able to see that the world is coming from me? No, I just see like 300 terrifying eyeballs.
Worse than that is 600 eyeballs.
Yes, like looking back at me. And, which is hilarious, you know? So here I am misperceiving the world and trying to say something interesting and clever and wise. But anyways, I digressed again.
Умний. Я трошечки
Just gonna have a sip of water here.
Okay, let's go to the next slide.
зроблю. Давайте до наступного слайду.
The next seed for leadership
Наступне зерно для лідерства – це
they're really tied together very intimately. And it's about encouragement. Like really encouraging people in the good things that they're already doing. Like, personally, like what, Ben did for Joel, right? And what I did to like break the ice is I asked Brian to play David Bowie's Under Pressure on our way up to the stage to kind of break some of this tension, right? But in a way to encourage, like, why don't we just call it out? Sometimes it's uncomfortable, right? It's a little uncomfortable sometimes to come up and have to talk to 600 eyeballs. Right? 600 years. But a lot of it is about encouragement. Like, how do we encourage others to be their best self? How do we, if each person has the potential to reach those highest goals, right? We all have our own emptiness. Therefore, we have that potential. And as humans, we have a unique potential that's different than maybe in a particular lifetime, like an ant or a cat. Like they don't seem to have the awareness or the mental capacity to do the transformative process. Right? So if you look at it's really funny. And Joe, I don't know if this happens to you. It's like you get into a group of people, and then human drama becomes human drama. Like, even amongst a wise, spiritual group, those people who are trying their hardest to do some change in the world, and then normal human things start happening. Drama ensues. Afflictions arise. Right?
І потім
what I've
починаються
seen
нормальні людські
in
речі.
this context is I've seen
Затьмарення
my
відбувається,
teachers
драми
focus
в
more on the
любві,
positive,
людській групі.
like, Tim, don't worry, don't worry, don't
І
worry. And I'm
потім
like,
я
I'm so
дивлюсь, що
worried.
мій вчитель фокусується
Like,
на
and they're like, no, just like, and then they
тому,
flip
щоб
it
я
around
не
and find the good quality. They find the good thing to
хвилювався.
focus on.
І він
And I'm wondering what your
перевертає
experience
все
has been
це
on
і
that.
знаходить гарне, на
With,
чому
I mean,
можна
even with friends or with teachers, like, how's your,
концентруватися. І далі ми вчителями, друзями. Як це відбувається у тебе?
Well, their relationship with me is all about encouragement. So there's these different aspects of a teacher. And Jigme talked about it in her meditation today. So she said, you know, if the teacher is pulling out all this stuff and it's very painful, then that's a good sign because your teacher can see that you can handle it. And I feel like I'm not quite there, you know. Oh my God, more. This is too funny. But my teachers are generally always encouraging, you know. I haven't got to the wrathful phase, although I know that there's a few seeds. There are a few seeds that somebody is going to
Я не
have to
йду
just
в
rip
сторону
right out of me because
злих
I'm
облич,
not going to do it
але хтось
willingly.
повинен
Uh,
замість мене
Yeah.
стати
I,
таким
for some
злобним,
reason,
якщо
it makes me think
потрібно.
of
Я не можу цього
so
робити.
one of my closest teachers
Але
is
також
actually
я
the
думаю
father
про
of
те, що
Kiri.
один з моїх
And I feel
найближчих
like it's
вчителів
auspicious that
це
we sent a
батько
message
Кірі.
to them. But
Я
early on in
думаю,
my
це
practice,
підозріло, якщо
I went to
ми
him and
надіслали йому
please, will you
повідомлення.
give me a
І
practice,
в моїй
between the
практиці
Diamond
я
Mountain
одного
turns?
разу прийшов до
I
нього
need
і
something to
сказав,
do,
будь ласка,
I
можеш
know,
ти мені
I feel
дати
like I'm supposed to
практику
ask this
між
of you or something.
поїздками
And
в
he said, well,
Diamond
you,
Mount, мені
Joel,
необхідно
you
щось
shouldn't do
робити.
anything.
Я думаю, я повинен тебе про щось спитати.
And,
Що? Ти
and I
що?
don't
Ти
think I
нічого
understood at
не
the time. I was
повинен
more kind of
робити.
hurt. I was like, does that mean that I don't
Я
have the
не
capacity?
думаю, що я зрозумів
But it
тоді.
was
Для
such a
мене це було
deep
боляче. Ти вважаєш,
encouragement
що в
for
мене
exactly
немає
what I need, which
здібностей.
is to just,
А насправді це була глибока
relax.
підтримка якраз для
for
того,
God's
що
sake,
мені
Joel, relax.
необхідно.
And
Релаксу,
that's a beautiful,
розслабитися.
I mean, it's beautiful that that was his advice.
Це неймовірно.
And it
Це
was encouraging. It just took me
класна
years to
порада.
understand.
Це було дуже надихаюче. Це я зрозумів потім.
Next slide.
Наступний слайд.
So the third seed is then to,
Третє зерно.
beyond like the giving and the encouragement, is also to find skillful
Коли ти
ways
за межами
to teach the people who
даяння
work for you or your students or however you see
даєш,
leadership, parenting is leadership.
знаходиш іскусний спосіб
How do you encourage them to put those things into practice
підтримувати
themselves?
людей.
How do you
Батьківство
how do you
також.
get them to do it? It's not just like,
Робота.
hey, good job,
Як ти
Joel.
можеш
Like,
Yeah.
like, but
підтримати
again,
людей, щоб
have
вони
you make that
робили
next step,
самі
like to
те,
go and
чому
do
ти
the
їх
thing,
навчаєш.
to plant the seeds, to do the
Як ви
purifications.
допомагаєте
right, to do the-
людині зробити
You know, it was so
наступний
beautiful
крок?
last night in
Посіяти
class.
зерна, зробити
You know,
очищення.
when we were
Це
when
було
Geshe was
так
talking about confession,
здорово минулого
talking
заняття
about
вчора
laying bare
ввечері, коли Гешела
the
говорив
things that
про
you've done,
визнання.
you know, and he, you know, he
Коли ти
confessed to
визна-
us, like to all of us, right?
Говориш про речі,
Some of
які ти
his
зробив,
things that he
він
saw that he needed to
зізнався
still purify,
всім нам
or appear that he
про
needs to
те,
purify.
що
You know.
він бачив, що йому необхідно очистити
You know,
в
and
собі.
for me, it's been a
Це
journey
так
of that
виглядало,
too.
що йому
Like,
необхідно це в собі
Part of
очистити.
the practice has
Для
been,
мене
how do
це
I
була мандрівка. Це
stop
частина
hiding, Tim?
практики для мене була.
like,
Як
stop
я
hiding your faults, stop hiding
перестану
the things that you do
скривати речі,
that
скривати
maybe
свої
you're ashamed of or
помилки,
you don't want other people to
скривати
know.
те, що я роблю.
You know, and the thing and the trick is,
Можливо,
from what I've
чогось ти
seen, is
соромишся і
I
не
was talking to
хочеш,
some
щоб
people outside,
інші
Kelly and
люди
Jean,
про це знали.
before this,
І
and kind of rehearsing what I was going to say.
секрет у тому,
'Cause I
як
too
я це
was
бачу по
A little bit
поведінні.
nervous, and I said, you know,
Тому що я
I'm not a bad
трошки теж
person. And they're like,
хвилювався. І я
why
сказав,
would you even think
знаєте,
that?
я непогана людина.
I was like, well, because I've done all these
Чому
things,
ти
and I can
взагалі
list
думаєш
all of
про
those
це?
things. And they're like, well, you're not a bad
Тому що
person.
я
You
все
just
це
made some
зробив,
mistakes.
і я можу перерахувати
And there's a
все,
subtle difference
все, що
there.
я зробив. Ти непогана
Like,
людина, ти лише
no, I'm not
зробив
a bad
якісь
person.
помилки. І в цьому
Am I still
є
gonna make mistakes in the future? Most likely.
відрізнення. Я непогана людина.
But how do we
можу
learn from
ще
them, right? And I
робити
think that's part of the
помилки в
practice. And
майбутньому.
as a
Скоріш за
leader,
все.
like how
Але
have
як ми
you,
можемо з
you
цього
know, in
навчитися?
leadership roles or
Це є
having been led by
практика.
others,
Як лідер,
like appreciate when you've made a
чи коли
mistake,
вас хтось
when you've made
веде
that
як
mistake, like at
лідер,
work,
як ви
or
можете
in your
бути
relationship with your
вдячні
teacher.
собі, що ви
Like,
робите
how have they
помилки
handled that with
на
you?
роботі чи у відносинах з вчителем? Як ви тоді з цим
I don't make mistakes, maybe.
впораєтесь? І як він впорається з вами? А можливо, я не роблю помилки?
I have some blackmail actually.
Oh, yes. Let's hear it.
У мене взагалі
I don't want to hide anymore either,
є,
so
є підтвердження.
just let it out. Tell them everything.
Лише відпускай це і говори, зізнаюсь у всьому.
So Joel, there was this one time that I recall that you were in a meeting and you got nervous. Could you share with us what happened in that meeting?
Можеш поділитися з нами і розповісти, що трапилося тоді на тій зустрічі у кафе? Ага, говорять, що це звичайна річ.
We did talk about this ahead of time. It's not a surprise. He does know. He knew I was going to ask about it. Okay, I'm not being.
Oh my God! I've just been exposed.
It's part of the show. But no, but we did talk about it. I asked for permission ahead of time. Don't think I'm that person. Sometimes I am, but not right now.
That was pretty believable, right? Though, like, yeah, okay.
Погода. Іноді взагалі я не роблю такого, але я запитав, можна ли про це говорити.
The relationship between the third. Okay, I won't worry about it. So, I was on a Zoom call with JB and Emma. And so I was supposed to be explaining this like very technical things to them, like all the progress that we had made in the infrastructure side of things with the library. And I made a diagram, but then I started to freak out about how am I actually going to explain this to them? And so this is the ultimate fear for me. Even when I come onto the stage here, it's really like, what happens if I freeze? And I froze in this meeting with two people that I know so well and so deeply. And I literally froze and then secretly ended the meeting.
Can you describe a little bit more what you mean you literally froze?
Like, I pretended to be frozen. And I just kind of slightly moved my finger so I could get on the mouse, and then just clicked end meeting. And it's so funny to think about, like, because I wonder what expression I had on my face. Like, what did I think was the most believable? Joel's actually frozen. Like, so anyways, so there I am. End the meeting, and then I'm freaking out in the cafe because you know the energy, the prana is like running very janky and strangely, and so I WhatsApp them and I say, oh my God, the internet connection is really bad here. I'm gonna have to connect to my data and get back on the meeting, and I think I actually walked to the washroom, tried to like walk it off. I came back and started the meeting, and I never said a word. I was so ashamed. Until I got here, actually, and I told Emma, but I haven't told JB, so don't tell JB. Okay, so I mean that's the story, but I don't know how it relates to what you're.
I mean, part of the way it relates is, you know, that we were asked last night in the teaching to confess, right? And then by putting it into practice, like, by making that confession to 600 eyeballs, plus all the eyeballs of the people online, plus all the rebroadcasts. Like, we have all the rebroadcasts that are happening. Like, I mean, maybe you've purified that seed.
That would be great.
Right?
Rejoice.
But I mean, what are we trying to do here? Like, you know, part of this is what happens. So you get a practice, right? Okay, here's the 4 different types of seeds to plant to become a leader, right? To attract students. However you want to look at it. But the practices aren't just, there's layers to it. And then once we start doing things, we're going to bump up against all these different resistances or realize all the things that we do that are opposite to that seed. We just do unconsciously or just automatically. Like, if you want to become, like, if you want to be able to be that leader, or you want to be someone who can really teach, like, there is a level of bearing your, doesn't mean you have to go tell your students every like secret detail, but having that person who you can say, look, I made this mistake in my life, and I need to purify this so I can move on. You know, so I can, but oftentimes when we start planting these new seeds, we start recognizing a slew of things we do that we didn't even know we were doing. And then we kind of find ourselves in, I don't want to say that word, in opposition to, we're trying to reach this goal, but we're doing all these things that are blocking the goal now, because we've learned what the karmic correlation is. And then all of a sudden we realize, well, crap, I do these 10 things that are opposite to this one seed. And then ensue the process of change, the process of purifying, the process of, however, whatever you want to call it, whatever words we want to use. Purification makes it sound like a word dirty in some way, and I don't really, it feels, the word feels off to me, because for someone who's just very self-critical, to say that I have to purify then reinforces the identity that there's something wrong with me. There's something wrong with Tim. He's not good enough. He's not worthy enough. He's not pure enough. He has to become better. Right?
So have you found a word?
No. But I'm trying to find a, maybe you all can think of a different word. You know, and in a way, there is a, you know, what is it, sakme? Right? Sometimes maybe just using the ancient language might be helpful, to just call it that. But I don't know. There's something. I don't know. To me, but this is part of the process where you have this new seed, and then you realize, wow, look at this story that Tim is telling himself about himself. Not a bad person. Like, we should have a new mudra. And this actually comes from Kelly and Jean. They were just like, you're not a bad person. Right? Maybe there's something in there. Maybe if something resonates with you, you know. And I think part of what we're talking about is confessing the things that we're slightly ashamed of. Maybe you'll feel the resonance in you that maybe, if the example up here, next slide, you know, the example of us doing it, maybe you'll realize that, you know, maybe I can do it too. And that's how I got comfortable with this sort of like getting more comfortable with just saying, this is who I am. This is what I've done. This is how I've tried to be a good person. This is where I've come up, not to the standard that I hold to myself. You know, and maybe because I saw it in other people, and that has inspired me. Like, I saw it from other people that just said, who just did that, and I've always wondered, how can you just be so open and honest about all of that? Like, I'm afraid. Like, I'm afraid of rejection, or I'm afraid of people won't like me anymore. Or, you know, again, what did you say that was related to?
Wrong worldview.
I was helping him not freeze. Because that's what he said the very first thing. He said, and I loved how you said it, Joel, I'm in awe about it, is that when looking out at each and every one of you and you freeze, like, you know that that's not, it's wrong view inside yourself, about yourself.
і
And
застигаєш,
we're just all trying
замираєш,
to do the
тому
same
що
thing.
це
I just want to say, can we all relax? I want to ask you all something.
про себе
Can you help
всередині
me
себе.
purify this
І
seed?
я намагаюся зробити те ж саме. Я хочу вас запитати,
it's
можете
debate.
мені
It's a
допомогти
debate.
очиститись від цього зерна? Це дебати.
No, not a debate.
I'm going to make a slightly different argument, and maybe we can debate it. I think you can help me.
Я доведу інший аргумент. Я думаю, ви можете мені
If I
допомогти.
if I make a request that each and every one of you find somebody safe that you're comfortable
Щоб
with
кожний з вас
and makes one confession,
знайшов людину,
and
з
you
якою
start
вам
removing that in you
безпечно. Ви відчуваєте,
and
що
opening up,
вам
does
з ним
that help me
безпечно,
purify
і
the seeds that I have in myself?
зізнаться цій людині, очистити себе. Це допоможе мені тоді?
Oh my God.
Поможе
I don't
це
know.
мені очистити? Я не знаю.
I mean, the thing is, you can't take the seed away from me. No, of course not. If the Buddha could have done that, they would have already, I hope. unless I have something wrong with me, that the Buddha is not helping me, but helping everybody else.
Це зерно від мене.
And there's my story.
Я думаю, якщо
Watch
Будда
my story.
міг,
The
він
Buddha
би
helps everyone
забрав.
else except me.
Але наскільки він ще не забрав, значить,
No, but
Будда допоміг
look, like
всім, кроме
maybe the
мене.
function of teaching,
Можливо,
I'm not a
вчення
Buddha. I don't know
працює.
what a Buddhist thinks. I don't know what
Я
a
не
Buddha
Будда.
sees when they see everybody. I don't know
Я
what a
не
Buddha
знаю, про
has
що
intention behind the
Будда
words that they're
думає,
saying. I
що
have
він
no clue.
бачить, коли він бачить всіх. Я не знаю, що таке проявлення
But
Будди,
maybe
коли
some of
він
the function of
говорить. Я
teaching is
поняття
I'm not
не
giving you
маю.
anything.
Але, можливо,
Maybe it's I have so much to
вчень
purify in
в тому,
me, and
що
if
я
I'm helping
не
other
даю
people
вам
purify
нічого.
their world and purify
І
their own
так
hearts,
багато в мене, від
Maybe that's how
чого
you can
мені
help me.
необхідно очиститись.
I don't know who
Я
you are. You're probably
допомагаю
all a
вам
bunch of Buddhas
очиститись
hanging out
таким
here,
чином.
being like,
Яким чином це може мені
Tim, you're the
допомогти?
last one left.
Можливо, ви всі Будди, які
And then
прийшли
appearing
сюди
to
і
help
говорять,
me.
Тімі,
So
ти
maybe
останній,
there's
вже
something in me
залишився.
asking
Це
for help
виглядає, що ви
that can
мені
help me.
допомагаєте.
I mean, I do remember from
Можливо,
yesterday's
ви
class
просите
that
мене у
Geshe said
допомозі, і
to
це
make sure
допомагає
that you had
мені.
someone
Я пам'ятаю
that you
вчора
could
на занятті,
confess
коли Геша
everything
вас
to.
сказав,
there must be some part
обов'язково
of that
майте когось,
process that is
кому ви
important.
можете зізнатись.
I mean, it
Це
makes sense
може
to me what
бути
you said.
частина важливого
Maybe it's just
процесу.
something for us to debate in Ben and Kendra's
Yeah.
class at some point.
That would be great. Today.
I think they already have a plan,
Зараз будуть дебати Бена і Кедри.
but it could be
І я
something
думаю,
to
в
think
них
about.
вже є план,
not
як
sure.
це використати.
So with those
Це
four
буде
seeds together,
те, про
right?
що
The one of
можна подумати.
generosity, the one of
Всі
encouragement,
ці 4
the seed of
зерна
helping people put it into
щедрість,
practice, and then the seed of
підтримки,
get on the bike and do it yourself. You be the example.
допомогти
You get up on
людям
stage in front of
внедрити
everybody,
практику і
then
зерно, коли
confess,
ти це
or
робиш сам. Вилазиш
find
на
that
сцену
special
перед
person to
всіма
confess to.
і зізнаєшся.
Like maybe there's something in there that
Чи
can
знаходиш
generate
людину, яка
the
зізнається?
change.
Можливо, є щось, що є в ньому, що підштовхне вас до перемен.
Sure.
All right.
А вже ж, добре.
15 minutes. Okay. So one of the things that the reason we invited Joel here today is that he's the director of technology.
Причин, чому ми сьогодні
Asian Classics
запросили
Live.
Джої, тому що він
Try again.
Mixing of
технічний
brands, mixing of letters,
директор
Asian Legacy Library.
багато
And I just wanted to ask him to give you a little bit of like how do these organizations all relate together?
азіатського
Because sometimes we don't know, like, well, there's ALL, there's ACIP, who's not really ACIP anymore, is ALL, we have ACI that's now VH, five houses, maybe DCI, DCIG, SCIM, DSEU, CSP, DCC,
That's pretty good.
BS, BSF,
Whoa.
BSF,
YSI. Am I missing any?
YSI,
DCP,
я щось пропустив?
Holy moly.
DCP,
PTWN.
PT,
Ah.
Then we have
WN,
GML, GMRL,
є
Geshe Michael, MGP.
Oh, what's G-Box?
Then there's G-Box, which is a lot of letters.
MGP,
You know, there's so many
G-Box.
letters, right? There's
Це
so
дуже
many
багато букв.
organizations.
так
He
багато
says
букв.
there's something like 42.
Так
I'm
багато
sorry if I missed
організацій.
your letters.
Він говорить, що 42.
What-
Вибачаюсь, якщо я пропустив ваші
Oh,
букви.
shit.
The most important.
WVP.
WVP.
Brian just stood up and flipped the table. He's like,
How dare you?
how do you forget about us?
Ти встав і не вернув стіл. Як ти смів забути про нас?
If the tech table does their job, you shouldn't even see them or notice they're there.
So they're doing their job then.
Yes, they are. They're doing a phenomenal job. Thank you all. Thank you, Worldview Production.
Робила свою роботу. Вони роблять неймовірну роботу. Дякую команді
So yeah, I was
продакшн,
wondering, Joel, if maybe you can give a little bit of
продюсерській
an overview of how all of that fits together in about 10 minutes.
Okay.
Можемо ми,
Maybe
мог
quicker.
би ти розповісти,
Okay. So tech table,
як це все
Worldview
працює
Productions.
разом?
We need to. Oh, there it is. So fast.
Продюсерська команда.
Okay.
На слайді написано,
I-
як
this
ти
is
сюди потрапив.
Kind of the talk that I gave last year, if you were here. And I feel like, as
Я
a member of
минулого року про
ALL,
це розповідав.
this is the obvious thing that we like to talk about because
Але я
we feel
відчуваю,
like maybe
я
the
як
most
член
hidden
ILL,
organization because it's
я
less.
можу говорити
front and
про це.
center.
Ми відчуваємо себе як сама
but yeah,
скрита організація.
If there's one thing that, I mean, there's many things that bring us all together into this room, but one of them is this worldview
Багато
umbrella.
чого ми всі разом
And about
в
a
цій
year or two ago
організації,
in
але
Jigme's class,
основне
she
це
showed me this,
парасолька
the most
світогляду.
amazing to-do list
І
of all
декілька
time.
занять Джиммі показала мені
Next
ось
slide. I
цей
need that little bell.
самий класний
love
список,
that
що
bell.
необхідно зробити.
So, actually, it's great that you're here, Jigme, just to make sure that I got all my information correct.
Здорово, Джиммі,
But,
що ти тут.
Well, it's weird.
Can you change the slide online too?
Перевірити
Yeah, on that
все,
screen
я
I don't
вірно
see it.
кажу. А змініть слайд, будь ласка.
So how did we get here? Okay. Oh, I can't read it. I'm so old. Okay, I'll
Мені
turn my
не
head.
видно, я
Um,
такий
oh, there it is.
старий. Список Геша Майкла, що робити.
I'm amazing.
You are.
Okay, so the story goes, the story that, the transmission that I heard, which might be incorrect, is that in the 80s, perhaps, in the 90s, it's so great that you're here, for so many reasons. So, in the 90s, on Geshe-la's wall, there was a to-do list, and it's the most inspiring to-do list I've ever seen. And it lays out the way that all worldview organizations are connected. And I don't think, you know, it makes sense in retrospect that they are all connected, but I don't think it was obvious to me that they were. But it goes like, as you can see, find the books, input them in searchable ASCII, distribute them for free. So you can see the organization that you're a part of, you know, so try and identify whatever organizations.
Щоб їх можна було описати, і все це ви робите в тій організації, в якій ви знаходитесь, перекласти їх, перевести,
Try and find yourself in this list, and you'll probably be in many different places, and you might move. As you move along the path, you might move between these items. But so which organization does the first three? Yeah.
Яка організація робить три перші кроки? Так. ALL.
And DCC.
No, DCC is number 4.
Yeah. So DCC and ALL are so close that it's hard to pull us apart. And we're so close that we kind of forget somehow that we're different organizations. So yes, ALL and DCC. The fourth, translate them. DCC.
DCC – це Diamond Cutter, команда перекладачів,
and ACI. Oh, this is getting confusing. So DCC, ACI, teach them and train teachers. So many. You can just shout out the acronym again. Teach them to the world. More. And then finally, change the world culture to peace and kindness. Yeah.
Jigme said Peachtree Cafe.
Well, definitely number 7, yeah. And so from this idea, we have, from this one particular vision, we have 42 organizations that have blossomed and so many people around the world that are actively working on changing world culture to peace and kindness. It's truly incredible. But this is where, if you've heard the term snow on the mountain, you can kind of, you can imagine the snow flowing through this list. And if we go to the, next slide. So the idea of snow on the mountain is that locked away at the top of a mountain, you know, there's this ancient wisdom, and it's very hard to get to. And so as you know, a normal person, as most people might spend their time looking at the mountain range and thinking, oh, it's very beautiful, but the idea of trekking to the top might be too dangerous. So you need people, you need guides, you need some mechanism to get to that knowledge and that wisdom. And so the idea is that the snow melts and it comes down into the streams and the rivers, and from there you can drink of this wisdom. And I made a handy little infographic. So just to see, just so you can see, and you can slowly cycle through this now. But the snow, the idea is that the snow is melting down. And finally, we have the happy people at the bottom. So all of this to say that all the teachings that we get, everything that I've ever heard and that has touched my heart, you know, meditation practices, dance practices, wisdom, emptiness, karma, all these things, they all flow from this source, which is an authentic source, the ACIP database. And so what I'd like to do is present to you. So last year I was here. We were here as an organization. ALL was here to show you are baby steps into creating this digital library that's available online. And I'd like to show a few of the features that we've created with all of you in mind. So the first layer, what we've accomplished so far has been to give free access to the world, to the data, but it's very hard for most people to what's the word? To interact with that data, because most of us here in this room might not be perfect in their Tibetan. So we've developed these AI features. I don't know if you've heard of this new technology. It's really big right now. And so much was accomplished this year. Most of it was to do with infrastructure and data pipelines and all these boring things, as well as tweaks to the library to make the user interface better, and to allow for really interesting features for scholars like text and scan, the ability to see text and scans together. But I feel like these AI features are really the ones that somebody like me gets excited about, because they will ultimately, the hope is that they will help me understand and learn Tibetan, and understand and learn the teachings. So as I was preparing this, I don't know if you guys have noticed that the internet is very spotty here, so instead of giving a live presentation, which the idea of giving a live presentation and having it not work was too much. It's too much for me to bear. So I've made I've made a little slideshow of some of these features. So, okay. Okay, so the first feature is the ability to search in English for a Tibetan or a Buddhist philosophical term, for instance. So you could search, say you were in the mixed nuts class and you know that they kept repeating this word and saying it was the word for emptiness, but you don't remember it. You could type emptiness into this text box and translate that into Tibetan and then run a search through the database. So we could also do the 4 Arya truths, which we were doing in class yesterday. So this is an example. We search for the 4 Arya truths. We get a few hits back, and is that correct, Ben? Oh, back one. Yeah. Okay, so what it does is it gives you a little overview of the term that you're searching, and then it gives you some options for what the Tibetan might be. So let's keep in mind, so throughout this whole talk, one thing to highlight is that, as Geshe was saying yesterday, if the database that the AI is relying upon is incomplete, then the answers are going to be incomplete. So we currently are relying on 2 models. There's an Anthropic model, Claude, and then there's a Dharma Mitra project, which is kind of doing its own thing. They built their own model, and they've done it based solely or focused specifically on Buddhist texts in Sanskrit and Tibetan. So these are great sources for us, but it's not the database is incomplete. There's so many more steps, but we need to do things like train specifically on the translated data and build our own LLM, basically. And actually, there's somebody right here that's going to help me with that, and that's Ming. Actually, there's so many people here that are excited about this and have come up to me to talk about this, and it's very exciting, and I hope that we keep in touch. But yeah, so just to keep that in mind. So as you're running these searches, the information is most likely correct, but it could be incorrect. what you need is a teacher to ask. Okay, so there we go. We've run our search, we've got some answers. We can click on any of those results and we get results right into the database. So here, this is a non-Tibetan speaker. They've made some inroads into a Tibetan library, which is pretty cool, I think. So we see where we get that match, and we can highlight that match, and we can do a translation. What's this guy's name? Pichikino? It's too far away. Yeah. Okay, so we can highlight, and we can. If we right click, then we get this little translate with Dharma Mitra. So here we're using the other model, and if we click that, nice, thank you. Then we get a translation, and we get the grammatical breakdown of that sentence. And so right away we're learning. We have, and it's gone. Yeah.
Can you go back 2 slides? Yeah, one more. Yeah, that one right there.
Oh, yeah. So what Dharma Mitra is trying to do is give you some semblance of an actual translation for what you've selected, and then the grammatical breakdown of that. And I'd just like to say that what this does is it really highlights the need for translators, because what you'll find as you're playing around with this is that it often gives you this very clunky translation, and it's nothing at all like a mixed nuts translation. Okay, and then, we only have a few minutes here, so we have less than a few minutes. So we also have these features related to OCR, and I don't know, I don't think we have to go into them. So what I'd like to leave you with is just that we've taken baby steps in the direction of creating tools for students of Buddhism and Tibetan, and we want to spend some time in the coming years developing those into kind of an integrated whole, into some sort of integrated flow that all of us can use in our studies. And so lastly, so we have Jamie Plant that's going to come and do a demo. So I thought it's very exciting to get the opportunity to see what he's developed. And I like the fact that Geshe said that maybe it could be that his database is complete. It'll be great to see what he's created. And there he is.
So the second part here, as Joel... No idea. Yeah. So we're going to put this into your computer, wherever you want to send. All right. So while Jamie's getting set up here, part of what we want to show you is all the cool tools that are available to you. And then you can think about this, what are they doing as leaders in their own organization? Do you have an HDMI cable? Hey, do we have an HDMI to USB-C? You don't have one over here? No. Here it comes. And so thank you, Jamie, for joining us on short notice today. Very much appreciate it.
I had no intention of giving a presentation, but I just wanted to show Geshe Michael. And then he was like, you have to go up and you have to show everyone else. So just you know, I want to say that this is not a live tool yet. It's just this is all in development. So whatever you see here is still being worked on. The design is not finalized. The data is not finalized. So it's still very much a working project. So just keep that in mind. But we're working every day extremely hard on it. And we imagine in the next couple months we'll have some version up for you. So that's why I wanted to share this today, to get you excited about some things that are coming. This isn't a pitch. This isn't a fundraising. I don't need any help. This is all just an offering, you know, for all of you, for all the students. So just something to get excited about. So I don't know if you guys, a lot of you might know about the Knowledge Base website. This has been my project now, maybe in one form or another, for the last 20 years. So, yeah. Is it showing up there? Okay. Oh, yeah, sure. So many things that Geshe Michael has taught over his entire teaching career are up there. So you can see audio, you can see videos, you can view text materials, lots of different things, and in many different languages as well. But one of the things that was frustrating about it is that, you know, while there's thousands of audio files and thousands of videos, a lot of them are an hour and a half or 2 hours long. So you have so many ideas that are just locked away inside of those videos that you can't really access. It is powerful, but it could be so much more powerful. So I always had this dream of how could I take all of that information and unlock it so then it becomes searchable. So this is, you know, this was Geshe Michael's original vision with the ACIP project. He originally had all of these woodblock prints and texts, old Tibetan texts that were just on a shelf in a library, and you couldn't search any of it and you couldn't access any of it. So that's what that project did. So this project is going to be similar to that. For all the rest of us that can't read Tibetan, you know, can we go and we can search many different ideas and see exactly where he taught those things and listen. Geshe Michael pitched this as an AI, but it's not an AI project yet. I think it's going to work in that direction. It's in the pipeline of we're creating all of the data that can be used by an AI at some point. I used a lot of AI tools to do certain parts of it, but it's not an AI in and of itself. So I'll just jump in. Everyone can see this up on the screen? No? Okay. That's an issue. Oh. No. Yeah.
For some reason, computers not syncing with our systems.
Oh. Sorry about that, folks.
It has to do with. This is part of our. It's showing now. If this is going on for some reason, it's not. Could you just give the highlights of what it does, and then we can
It's very difficult if I can't show it.
Oh, if you drop the resolution, then does it connect?
I could explain to you what it does, but it's very difficult if I can't show it to you.
Nope, let's try that. Yeah. Okay, cool. We'll try one more thing.
No.
How about
Sorry, everyone. I know this is super annoying.
Just reduce the video.
Let me try.
All right, let's try this out. Brian, let me try one more. Plug this back in. Plug this right back in. Plug the other one in. Sorry about this, Jamie.
If worse comes to worse, you'll have extra break time, and I'll show you next year.
No, it keeps going in and out. Well, the problem is he's running his data off an extender one, so I can't put this in without. Well, no, because he's using this. It doesn't have two.
I mean, you can try it. I don't have to show that.
This one.
Let's put this in here. Oh, I see what you're doing. Let's try this. Let's just see what happens.
Okay, there's also this one.
Okay.
That's new and powerful.
Yeah. Okay. All right. We're going to go for this camera. We're going to do it on your screen. Okay. Go for it.
I'm so used to this. Doing work like this, there's constant obstacles.
Yeah. Don't worry, everybody. It's just a purification of kinds of sorts. So we're going to use the camera to record his screen and show you that way. Old school. The last ditch effort could be, is the internet strong enough that we can put him on Zoom and share a screen? No.
I'll show him next year.
Okay. What, could you just talk about what it, just in general, what it does? Okay. Yeah, sorry, we're not going to be able to see. Maybe it's just not ready to be shown yet, Jamie. Karmically, but. Oh, now we see it. Now we see it. All right, cool.
Okay. So basically, we took every one of the videos that we have, so thousands of videos, and we've transcribed them all. So we've used, this is one of the places where we've used AI, Whisper model, to transcribe all of the lectures, all of the audio, all of the videos. And then the output for all of that is timed. So every second is time-stamped. So now in my source data, so I have an exact time that I can match to the video and the audio for everything. So then we've taken that source data and started to clean it up. So basically the result is you get a sophisticated search program where you can search for anything you want. And then it's going to bring you back results. And you can see here, this is an example of search preview. So I search for Lamrim. No, I search for this. And it pulls this up. And so then over to the right, so this is just a little part of the class that I'm getting here in the search results. But basically, then I can see over to the right the full summary of this entire class that this section belongs to. And then I can see currently which section of the class is here. So we have titles for all the section of the class here. And any of these things you can click on.
Could you put the microphone in my mouth? Yeah.
Any of these you can click on and hear exactly where Geshe Michael is talking about this. It's not playing for some reason now because it's not connected. But then you can.
But in theory, when you click on
when you click on any of this, it will play exactly where it is in the course.
Yeah. And it actually does work. It's because we plugged in all the different things in weird configurations that it's not connecting to his hard drive, but it does work.
So then you can look over to the right and you can see exactly a full overview of the class. Then you can expand this even further, and it's going to open up and it's going to take you to that section of the class in terms of a summary overview for each section. Each of these you can click and play exactly where it is. You can drop down one level lower and get the actual transcript. So every minute or something is in here. So I can hop up one more level and get the section. So then I can open up audio and video here, and it's exactly timed to where it is. If I want to see the source text, so the ALL source text, I can click that, and it's going to scroll exactly to the folio of this section. So everything is linked. Everything is linked. Then we have a Tibetan outline as well. So my partner, Bo, she's going through, listening to the entire Lam Rim, and she's marking each line where Geshe Michael reads that line in the original Tibetan and marking it for the time. So we have all of that for the entire Lam Rim. So for all of this as well, when it's connected properly, you can click on any of those lines and you'll hear that line being read. So you can see the scan of the original text as well in there.
We're working on it.
Oh,
yeah.
God.
Yeah, it went out.
Yeah. So anyway, you sort of like everything is connected down to the exact second. It's all, each piece is connected with each
Everything
other.
is
So
down.
you can scroll around anywhere and link into all these different parts of the process.
Blue screen of death.
More, but yeah, there's a lot more. There's a whole other part of it which is similar to what Joel is doing, but the idea was to create all of these tools for students that want to go deeper, for teachers that want to start to use all this material to organize their own classes and their own courses. So all of these things that I was showing you before, as you're going through and you're searching for things, if you find something that's interesting to you that you want to save for later, you can bookmark it all. So as you're going through, you can just click Save to My Collection. Then you can go through after and view your collection, and everything is going to be saved there. You can export it to a CSV file or different ways. And then you can start to use that to create courses of your own and to do in-depth research. But basically, so the project is called the Knowledge Base, and I wanted to make it the ultimate knowledge base for students, for teachers, for translators. So I have a part of it as well that integrates with the ALL library, so you can go through and you can search the original source text as well. Can you see it up on the screen? Oh.
Another system of ours crashed too at the same time.
Oh.
That's not the problem now. No, it's a different problem.
Anyway, yeah. When it's live, I will show you everything.
When do you anticipate rolling out a first version of this publicly?
Probably in the next, I don't want to commit to anything.
Well, no, you don't. I mean, I know
In the
software.
next 3 to 4 months.
Okay.
Yeah.
So sometime in 2026, this
Yeah.
looks like we'll start being able to use
Yeah.
use this and test it out.
Yeah. So, if you're interested and you want to see more, like you can grab me anytime you see me, and I'll show you on the computer. I'll show you everything, and I'm happy to do that. There's a lot more cool stuff.
Great.
So yeah. So we have a QR code as well. If you're interested in. Yeah. Oh, sorry. That doesn't work either. Yeah. Anyway, you can come to my computer and see the QR code. It just links to a sign-up form if you want to, if you want to receive information about when it's available, or if you want to offer your help in some way. Part of this as well is, part of what I showed you before was you can go through and you can search, and there's transcripts for everything, but those transcripts aren't perfect yet. So one thing, I want to have a group of sort of editors and power users that can go through, and each of those things you can click edit, and it pulls you into a separate screen where you can edit that part of the transcript. And you can listen to the video and the audio, all part of the transcript, and it'll loop, and then you can change it, make an edit, and submit it to me for review, or an admin can then review it. And as you're using the tool, it's still usable. You can use it, you can search, you can do research, but you can also edit as well and start to improve the data. And then over time, it's going to get better and better and better. And then once it gets much better, then we can start using it for some AI applications as well.
Great. I'm sitting up here. I'm already planning how we're going to use this in the 5 houses. I'm just imagining the ways that we can use this to develop new coursework. Remember in October, we started using the knowledge base to pull out courses that could be transformed into Geshe Michael's previous courses and turned into new content, new courses for the 5 houses. And this looks like this is going to be an amazing tool for teachers to be able to search through, like if I have a particular concept, when did Geshe Michael talk about this one idea? And then you can go back through the last 25, 30 years and then cross-reference, well, he's talked about this concept 15 times over 25 years, and you can see how he talked about it, how it has evolved over time.
That was exactly my intention for building it as well. Yeah, to give teachers the tools to be able to do exactly that.
I didn't know he was doing this, so this is super exciting.
Yeah. So, yeah, if you want to see more, come grab me, and I can show you.
Cool. Well, thank you for taking the time. I apologize for the sometimes things work and sometimes, I don't know. Most of the time it works, but don't worry. Things break on purpose at the right time. So thank you again for your time. I appreciate it. Yeah. I need 2 more minutes. Thank you. Thank you. So there was one more thing that I wanted to do, and I'm going to do it briefly, and then you'll hear more about it very soon. Sorry, I broke the microphone stand as well. First of all, thank you, Joel, for joining us today. Thank you, Jamie, for both of you showing the great work that you're doing in the Worldview Network. So let's give them a round of applause. Thank you. So where we wanted to go, and we have only a few minutes and we're running slightly over, so I'm going to go very fast and then you'll hear more about it later, is that where we're going with this idea of leadership, and Geshe mentioned it the other night, is that we need to build leadership in each of the houses. We need to find the talent, create the talent of people who can lead that. And so we're calling it an advisory council of 10 people plus a few from the main office, including myself, to start leading that charge for each of the houses. So how are we going to find you? Some of you have expressed interest. Some of you have been too shy to express interest. So we have an application form online. If you're interested in being part of that, there's an application form. You fill it out, answer some questions, upload your CV. Please upload your photo too so we know who you are. And then we'll go through an interview process. Now, this is an amazing opportunity to plant some amazing seeds and volunteer to start. And then eventually the work we will build it so that it will then start bringing in the funding to hopefully turn them into paid positions. But to start will be your blood, sweat, and tears.
That's how it always starts.
That's how it always starts. So if you're interested, and maybe you're interested in just learning more, or maybe you're like, I'm not sure if I want a position like that, but I want to be involved, fill out the application. So then we can start to get to know who really wants to be part of this. It's not limited to people who only live in the United States. Okay? So if you're interested, fill that out. And we will be starting application reviews in January 1. And hopefully start interviewing during January to see who wants to be part of that small group. Let's say we start with 10 people, and after a month you're like, yeah, this isn't my thing. Okay, that's why we need more applications. Then we'll go back and we'll start looking to fill those spots. I want to spend a little bit more time talking about it, but we are over time. So again, thank you, Joel, for sharing your vulnerable stories.
Thanks for listening, everybody.
And if you're ever having a problem in Zoom and you're uncomfortable in a meeting,
now you know what to do.
Start practicing in the mirror. What's the freeze frame that you want? And thank you very much. Thank you, Jamie, for joining us. And we have Ben and Kendra's class coming up right now. Thank you very much.
Thank you, team. Thank you, Joy. Thank you, Jamie. And so we had to delay like 5 minutes for the next class, so we can have 10 minutes to take a break. And before the break, the people who are interested to take your Bodhisattva Vow card back, you might can find yours outside at the registration desk. Okay, teacher JB La, Connie La, and Hector, they give the card back there. You can find there. And Tim. And we're waiting for Venerable Gelsey's card. And also, you can maybe ask the teacher, maybe they had your card in their hand. So try to find that outside. 第二个事情呢，就是关于我们的那个 Geshe Michael 001, that beautiful pen auction. Now we are getting to $5,500 US. So we still have time. We still have time to give your silence auction. So maybe some people, they are too shy to go there to say your auction bid, but you know you can have a paper and silently write your name down and write the number and give that to them. We will close the auction. 我们今天早上会关闭这个拍卖的机会，今天早上，所以现在以及下一节课之前还有机会。好吗？所以请大家继续去把你想要把这支笔带回家，把格西老师的祝福带回家，而且今天下午还有机会站在这个讲台上接受老师亲自把这支笔送给你啊！所以的话呢，大家抓紧时间去投标。
So the auction, I just repeat in English. So the auction will be closed this morning after this morning's class or before lunch. So if you still want to bid, by the way, this is a silent bid. So you don't have to yell out your bid. You just have to silently sneak a paper to Rosa, who's over there in a gray hat. She's there. So if you're interested, please reach out to her and talk to her. And the bidding starting price right now is 5,500 USD. And the highest bidder will have a chance to receive this package from Geshe Michael himself this afternoon on this stage. So, and all the profit from this will go to supporting the operations of the 5 houses and keep the Dharma from flowing. And okay. Okay, so we'll take a quick break. Make sure to check out all the stalls in the back, and we'll see you in 10 minutes.
Wow, thank you so much, Teacher Tim, Teacher Joe, and special guest, Teacher Jamie, for amazing guidance. I believe after this session, we are even appreciate more about the lifetime contribution, dedication of Geshe Michael Roach, and especially on the senior teacher live in the worldview organization, and of course, it's member of the organization. And if you like me, you think that, oh, we not really have the good contribution for the organization, just remember Teacher Jim saying that somehow the best people will be the most criticized. So just encourage others to become the best of themselves. Yep, we have just under 10 minutes for the press, and let's come back for the debate training very soon. Start very soon. Yeah, see you. Bye bye.